What if I told you that the reason you can't fall asleep at night, the reason you feel groggy every morning, and the reason your energy crashes by 2 p.m. all comes down to one thing your doctor never told you about. It's called your sleep chronotype. And once you know yours, it changes everything about how you sleep, when you eat, when you work, and how much energy you have throughout the day. Side-Eye Dad here. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what sleep chronotypes are, how to identify yours, the actual science behind what happens in your brain while you sleep, and the part most people miss, the secret to getting incredible sleep night after night. Stay until the end, because the secret is probably the opposite of what you've been told. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's start with the basics here. Your chronotype is essentially your body's natural biological clock. Your internal preference for when you feel the most awake and when you feel the most sleepy. This is governed by your circadian rhythm, a roughly 24-hour cycle controlled by a tiny region in your brain and directly influenced by light exposure. Now here's the thing, not everyone's clock is set the same way. And this isn't about discipline or habit, this is actually genetic and it's baked into your biology. Dr. Michael Breus, a clinical psychologist and sleep specialist, popularized the 4 chronotype models. Let's walk through each one. The bear. This is about 55% of the population. Bears follow the solar cycle. They wake up and wind down with the sun. They're most productive mid-morning. They hit an energy dip after lunch. And they feel sleepy about 10 or 11 p.m. If this sounds like most people, you're right, because it is. The lion. This is about 15% of the population. Lions are your classic early risers. They pop out of bed about 5 or 6 a.m. They're full of energy. They do their best work before noon, and they start winding down early evening. These are your morning people. I actually fall into this category. The wolf, 15% of the population. Wolves are the opposite. They're also called night owls. They struggle in the morning. They hit their creative stride later in the day and evening, and they don't feel tired until well past midnight. Society tends to punish these folks, the wolves, with early start times, which is why so many of them feel perpetually exhausted. And then you have the dolphins. This is about 10% of the population. Dolphins are light sleepers and often struggle with insomnia. Their sleep-wake cycle and that rhythm is usually very irregular, and they're prone to anxiety around sleep. They tend to be highly intelligent but wired, and their brains don't usually shut off too easily. Okay, so how do you figure out which one you are? Here's the best way to do it, and it doesn't really require a lab test. You got to ask yourself these questions and be very honest with yourself. Don't answer based on what your schedule forces you to do. Answer based on what your body naturally wants. So if you could wake up at any time with no alarm, when would you naturally wake up? When do you feel your sharpest and most focused during the day? Now, if you had a really big creative project, what time of day would you choose to tackle it? Do you fall asleep within 20 minutes of laying down? Do you wake in the middle of the night? And if so, how long are you awake for? Do you feel well rested in the morning, or do you need caffeine just to function? Now, if you wake early, naturally, and you crash by 9 p.m., like I do, you're likely a lion. If you follow the sun and feel normal about your sleep, you're probably a bear. If your best ideas come to you at 10 p.m. and mornings feel very painful, you're likely a wolf. And if sleep feels like it's a battle, you lie awake, you wake up frequently, and you never feel really rested, you're likely a dolphin. You can also take an official chronotype quiz online from Dr. Breus, and I'll drop that link in the description below. But for most people, just sitting with those questions will give you a very clear picture. And here's why it matters. Because once you understand your chronotype, you can align your daily schedule to your biology instead of fighting against it. And that's where the real transformation begins. Now let's talk about what actually happens after you close your eyes, because this is where most people have no idea what's going on inside their body. Sleep is not just about being unconscious. It's an incredibly active process, and your body cycles through distinct stages multiple times each night. Understanding these stages is very critical because the quality of your sleep depends on how you fully move through each stage. The first stage is light sleep. This is the transition zone. This is where your muscles relax, your heart rate slows, your brain produces alpha and theta waves. This stage lasts a few minutes. It's that feeling of drifting off where you might jerk and suddenly awake. If you're not falling asleep within about 20 minutes of lying down, that's already a signal worth paying attention to. The second stage is where your body's temperature drops, your heart rate slows further, and your brain starts producing these sleep spindles. These are short bursts of electrical activity that help with memory and consolidation. You spend roughly half of your total sleep in this stage, and it's the bridge between light and deep sleep. The third stage is deep sleep. This is gold. Deep sleep is where your body does its major repair work. Things like tissue growth, muscle recovery, immune system strengthening, hormone regulation. Your brain produces slow delta waves, and it's the hardest stage to actually wake up from. If you're not getting enough deep sleep, you'll feel tired no matter how many hours you spend in bed. This stage is also critical for endocrine health. Your cortisol rhythm, your growth hormone release, your overall hormonal balance all depend on adequate deep sleep. And this is the reason why in all of my videos, I talk about sleep. Sleep is the number one thing that you can do for your body, for endocrine, for detox. It is literally the best thing you can possibly do. Stage 4 is REM. This is where dreaming happens. Your brain becomes highly active, almost as active as when you're awake. And while your body enters this temporary paralysis to prevent you from acting out dreams, REM sleep is essential for emotional processing, creativity, and long-term memory storage. Your first REM cycle of the night is usually short. It's maybe 10 minutes, but then the later cycles can last up to an hour. A healthy adult cycles through all 4 stages roughly every 90 minutes, completing 4 to 6 cycles per night. The first half of the night is dominated by deep sleep. The second half is dominated by REM. And this is why cutting your sleep short by even an hour can rob you of a massive chunk of REM sleep. And that's the stuff your brain desperately needs. Okay, so here's the thing you've all been waiting for. The secret to getting the best sleep of your life. Every single night. And I'll warn you, it's not a supplement, it's not a sleep gadget, and it's not melatonin gummies. The secret is this: your sleep quality is determined by what you do during the day, not what you do at bedtime. And let me explain. Most people treat sleep like it's a switch you flip at night. They scroll their phone until midnight, they eat a big meal at 9 p.m., they have caffeine at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they wonder why they can't sleep. But sleep is not a nighttime event. It's a 24-hour biological process. Here are the specific things that make the biggest difference to help set up your sleep. Number 1 is stabilize your blood sugar all day long. This is something that nobody talks about, but your cortisol, the stress hormone, is produced by your adrenal glands. It follows a 24-hour curve. It should be the highest in the morning and the lowest at night. But when your blood sugar is swinging up and down all day from skipping meals or eating high sugar foods, your cortisol gets thrown off. Here's the critical connection. At night, cortisol is responsible for keeping your blood sugar stable while you're in a fasted state. If your blood sugar has been on a roller coaster all day, it will continue that pattern all night. So when it drops too low, your body actually releases cortisol to wake you up, and that's the classic 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. wake up. The fix? Eat balanced meals with protein, healthy fat, and some fiber throughout the day. And here's the powerful tip. You could eat a small snack with protein and some fat before bed, a few bites of turkey or like a spoonful of nut butter, or what some practitioners call this like the meat pill. It's just a tiny amount of protein to keep your blood sugar steady throughout the night. The second thing is protect your melatonin production. And melatonin is produced in the pineal gland in the first 3 hours of sleep, and it's triggered by darkness. So this hormone is not just a sleep aid, it's a powerful antioxidant and an anti-aging compound, and the immune system regulator. But here's the problem. We are destroying our melatonin production with light exposure at night. Blue light from your phone, computer, and TV stimulates the pineal gland into thinking it's daytime, even small amounts of light. The glow from the clock radio, the TV standby light, the street light through your curtain can suppress melatonin. Make your bedroom a true sanctuary. Pitch black, no glowing dots, remove the electronics from within 5 feet of your bed. This alone can dramatically improve sleep quality. During the day, do the opposite. Get outside, expose yourself to natural light, especially in the morning. This reinforces your circadian rhythm and it primes your body to produce melatonin when the sun goes down. This also is reinforced by a video I made on habits for success. All of these things, reducing blue light, getting outside early, getting natural light in the morning, standing on the earth and grounding, these are all things you can do to help your sleep. The third thing is, remember that cortisol wave? There's a natural dip in cortisol production in the evening, usually around 10 to 10:30 for most people. If you get into bed during that window, you can catch the wave, your body's natural relaxation point, and then you fall asleep easily. You push past it, and your body may release another cortisol bump, making it much harder to fall asleep. You know that second wind that some people have, that feeling at 11 p.m. that if you stay up past 10 p.m., you're like, hey, I got a ton of energy now. That's the cortisol bump. Don't push through it, ride the wave down. The fourth thing is you have to align your schedule to your chronotype. And I know that this is a lot harder done than said, but do your best to do this because this brings it all full circle. Once you know your chronotype, you have to try to honor it as best as you can. If you're a wolf, stop trying to be a lion. If you're a dolphin, build in extra wind down time and consider calming herbal allies like valerian, passion flower, or even skullcap about 30 to 45 minutes before bed. If you're a bear, just respect the solar cycle. Your body already knows what to do. So recapping this, your sleep chronotype is your biological blueprint for when to sleep and when to be active. And again, there are 4 types: the bear, lion, wolf, and dolphin. And knowing yours is step 1. Your body cycles through 4 stages of sleep every 90 minutes. And each stage does something different and essential for your health. So cutting sleep short, it cheats you of the deep sleep and the REM sleep that your body is really counting on. And the real secret that I shared is that sleep is a daytime game. Stabilize your blood sugar, protect your melatonin, catch the cortisol wave, and align your body to that daily rhythm that is aligned with your chronotype. Do those 4 things, and you will sleep better than you ever have in years. If you love this video, drop a comment and tell me which chronotype you are. I read every single one of them. And if this video helped you, hit that subscribe button and share it with somebody who needs to hear this. I'll see you in the next video.